Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, I'm Donna Miller-Small, and my co-author, Dara is here with me. And before we get going and playing some canasta, Dara's going to tell you a little bit about our Facebook and YouTube groups.
Terrific channel, but if someone just sent you the link and you haven't seen it before, we started a few months ago, and we have our introduction, our welcome, our tutorial on how to play on RealCanasta, our book launch. We have Game On, which is what we're going to be doing today. We have a few of those. We did a live game on. We did a jumpstart to playing canasta. And then these two are our back to basics and our round 2 of quizzes that we did. So testing your canasta knowledge. And then the other thing I want to show everybody, can you still see my screen, the Facebook? Okay, terrific. Yeah, it worked. So this is our Facebook group, and we have similar rule strategy posts. We do different challenges. We have questions. We have people chime in. We want to be your canasta community, and we want to be your canasta hotline. So you can ask any questions you have, and one of us are usually online. If not, we have a lot of really helpful and knowledgeable players that chime in as well. If you see an answer you don't agree with, you could report it to us, or if something is not polite, we don't stand for that. So, so far, everybody's been very welcoming, very helpful, and we hope you enjoy. So with that being said, I could switch and share. Now you see RealCanasta? Oh, this was so beautiful. I'm going to
go.
So let us do, so we'll do a new game. We will be in invisible mode, and I think medium worked well, right?
Medium's good.
Okay.
That's the speed.
Right. Yeah. So when I play myself, I keep it on fast. If I play against the bots. So this is interesting. I mean, you know right away what I'm already thinking pretty much. Well, yeah. There's 2 things I'm thinking. I'm thinking special hand with pairs, with both pairs of the wilds, and I'm thinking a wild card canasta.
All good ways to start. We don't have an opening. Do we have to pick a card and see where we're. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I mean, I know you say never. I do not do wild card canastas with only 4 wilds. I usually wait till 5. So now with this, and we have a whole 54 cards left in the pack. So are you okay with me putting these 5 down?
Well, question. I always love to open, we talk about in our books some differences of the way we strategize and the way we open. And is there an advantage to wait? I'm just going to pose this as a question. Is there an advantage to waiting?
I've thought about this before. If I have 5, and normally I'm a waiter, like I like to see how many. If I have 5, I feel, what if for some ridiculous reason, my partner happens to be lucky enough and have 2? They only need 125. So with the other joker and a 2, that's 70 points, they might be able to open. And then we'd be stuck, especially with a meld base of 5, we'd be stuck with wild cards.
I think that's the important takeaway here, folks. And we're going to do something separate on meld bases. But when you have a meld base of 5, you want to use wild cards because you don't want to get stuck with them. That's the reason we're going to open. Hello, let's go.
Daisy's chiming in the background. She thinks
she agrees. Okay.
It's
Put her up.
When we do live, she's quiet as a mouse. And when we're not live, when we're recording, she. Oh, that's so interesting. I've never seen it do the little chime. I mean, I would never stop it.
With 3, yeah, we could, to open,
that's funny.
Right, because
I mean, you can't pick the pack with jokers, so it doesn't matter if we stop at 3 or 5.
Correct.
And then personally, since we're so far off, I like keeping lower cards because I think that other people throw them.
That's a good strategy.
I would get rid of the jack because it's a single higher card.
That's fine.
So I think a lot of times when people are trying to get, I mean, usually when it's at 180, 155, when they're trying to get their opening, keeping lower cards, a pair of them, if you can, is helpful sometimes to pick the pack. Oh, all right.
My partner had 1.
And then for you, if you're playing with people, And right now the chat's disabled because we're playing against bots. But if you're playing with other
Two
people,
sixes. Hold on, partner. For a second.
you
Didn't
can
want you to miss that.
you can chat, and a lot of times people will say, thank you, partner, or if they're rushed, they'll say TYP and MPP, my pleasure, partner. So if you're not sure what any of the chats are, if somebody says it, feel free to post it in our Canasta, Modern American Canasta on Facebook. So question, clearly, normally I'd pick the pack. There's only 4.
Oh, right.
Would you wait?
Yeah, I just was going to tell you to pick the pack, but
I mean, we have,
the best strategy is
it's only 4 cards and we need
only 4 cards to keep picking so we get the wild cards. That's the strategy we should be doing. So pick a card. I'm glad. Okay.
And then now I'll throw a 9 since we have pairs of the other.
Yeah. Yay. Oh my God, we got all 4 jokers.
That's extra points. That's 2,500 if I remember correctly.
Oh.
So today it was interesting. We posed a question in Facebook and somebody said, you know, I asked, what would you discard and would you add to your meld? And one of the responses was, what did the person throw me? Which was funny because I still had RealCanasta open. So I was able to look back 3 and,
Okay. Right. So we can see, but we want to take the 2 kings.
Now I'll take the pack. Now that we closed, even though it's a small pack, I mean, why not?
Why
So
not?
you're going to say just discard, do not put anything else down.
Well, we've got 1 canasta. Do we have any chances? We really don't have a lot of stuff. So my strategy always is don't put down cards early. Keep them.
Unless the exception to that is if we had 5 9s and a wild and we could, you know, put down 6 cards and our partner can close and we can get 2 and get out. Then
exactly, we can't. We're going to need to make some pures because we've got 7 wild cards down there. Well, question, are you going to throw the queen? Would you throw a 6 to bait them and to keep pairs?
At this point, I mean, that's a great idea. And actually somebody once said in a game, I heard somebody saying that's cheating. I'm like, no, that's strategy. There's nothing, you're trying to make them think you don't have a 6. I think that's a great strategy. At this point, I think it's 50-50. I don't know what the computer.
Okay. All right, let's try it. You want to, yeah, all right. Remember, they're still trying to open, and without those big jokers, it's hard.
It would be very rare of them to pick the pack with a 6 if they haven't even opened yet. All right, so we can't pick that. 8.
Would you throw a 10?
They threw a 10. That's interesting. Should we try it again?
I would try. I would keep the pairs because we're going to get the pack eventually.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Now they keep throwing 6s.
Yeah. All right.
So we could have a 6, an 8, a 9, a 10.
Yeah.
Nope, not a 7.
Now that does happen. All right.
All right. So I'm not going to add.
Yeah. Yeah. The kings or the queen. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, our partner could have 3 9s, and we, you know, but you just don't.
Right.
know.
But we want to get a pack at this point. Well, partner just put down a king.
So it's funny if we added a king. I mean, there's already 7 wild.
We don't have a lot of wild cards. That's to me the strategy at this point. Let's see what they're opening with.
They only
they had aces.
2 wild
Okay.
cards. So
you know, they had the aces. They took the 8. Yay.
okay, so that's
Now
good.
we should have a good amount to put down.
Yeah. So we didn't get stuck with much. So we can add a king. I mean, I think we add the 10s at this point. We have 5 of them.
Maybe we match with our partner at this point.
Now, would you put down all 5 or would you keep 2 back to pick the pack?
You know, I might keep 2 back at this
And
point.
we're going to go, and at this point, so let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6. I think we put them all out. And
Oh
see.
God, yeah, close it out.
Yeah, there's the chance of them having, you know, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 more 10s. We don't have any more kings. So would you add the 10s or just leave them for now?
I might hold it. Maybe we force them. That's 5 6 7. We need pures, and so we have 7 wild cards in our meld, and they have 1 is 8.
No,
So
they have 2. They have one in the
The
5.
two. Oh, right, yeah. So that's 9 wild cards out of 12. There's not a lot of wild cards. We're going to need to match purely.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We have an ace. There are 3 melds. We have one of each. We have an ace, we have a 5, we have 2 queens. Now, we can't close queens because this is going back to a prior discussion we
Yeah.
had. If somebody has 4, the other team can't get enough to close a canasta, because if they have 4, the most you can get is 4, and then you can add at most 2 wilds, the most you're going to have is 6. So those 2 queens are great discards for us.
Although we might, if we discard them and they get the pack, it's going to give them a canasta.
Yes.
And we might get a 3rd queen.
So that was my question.
them.
Do you throw an ace, a 5, or a queen?
Well,
I mean,
we can't put an ace on an empty tray.
Oh, yeah.
After we pick the pack. I guess I'd throw them the 5, a 5 or a 4.
I think the 5, just because the
Yeah.
4s, you know.
Yeah, haven't been played. Yeah, well, they got a special hand. Oh, my God.
That's intro. So they won that round.
So wait a minute, though. Well, at least we
They
closed
just
that.
opened that last. Wow, it took them a while to open. Oh,
It took them a while, so they had 7s and 2s. They got the zip code hand, right? So they drew a 5. They didn't take our 5. You can't.
no, they took no, that's what it is. In RealCanasta, they accept picking the pack when there's 1 card for a special.
We don't
discussed this.
agree with them.
We don't, that's one of the few things we don't agree with. We believe that since it's a rule that in order to pick the pack, you must have 2. If let's say they didn't need the 5, let's say they were doing something and they needed a pair, they could pick the pack for just the pair with 1 card. So we feel that you shouldn't be able to pick the pack for the special.
Particularly, this is the zip code. So even if we didn't throw them the 5, we would have thrown them the 4. That would have given it to them also.
Given it to them. The queen wouldn't have. Yeah, the 5 or the 4 would have given it to them.
Yeah, and you can't plan for everything.
You know what though? Hey, win or lose, I think when we do these, and I mean, not to pat us on the back, but these are great learning moments. I mean, this is
They are.
You have to decide with your group beforehand, are you allowed to pick the pack for a special? And so this is hysterical. It was showing a courtesy special, picking the pack for a special, and how flexible zip codes are all in one little pick.
Correct. And I feel very strongly.
Oh, wow. We got stuck with 7s because of that. Oh, goodness.
We did? Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Oh, that's why we have so little with the 20.
We couldn't discard the 7.
Discard.
Just pick the pack.
This very rarely happens, but it does. But it also brings up the point of that throwing a card on an empty tray where you can't discard a 7 or an ace. So you're throwing them a live card. For them to be able to pick it and get a special hand, I think is just not fair. And this game is a game of fairness. And it has always been played where you need a pair to pick the discard pile. That is classic canasta. This flies in the face of that. Dara knows how strongly I feel about it. And
well, it's interesting because when we were writing the book and you kept saying about fairness, and it's as we were writing it, it was so interesting to see more and more pieces of fairness shown throughout the game. So one, just the fact that most games do not increase the difficulty level for the person that's doing better. So as you do better, your opening requirement gets harder. And also just other aspects of the game. If you pick the pack, you get a ton of cards, but you might be stuck like we just were with 7s. So there's always kind of like a balancing act in the game.
correct. All right,
Next round.
on to the next.
Okay, so not as many wild, but we still have wilds at least. So let's just see, what are we? We're at 125, and they're still at 125.
You know what? It's a good thing we didn't get stuck having those wilds open on the last. Our partner threw a 7. That would have really been bad. Okay.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with the RealCanasta, if you tap the card once, it brings you up to the left and gives you your score. Just be careful, because if you think you have a special, if you're counting your cards, it won't show you the button to press a special hand that you see right there. So just be careful with that. So what's interesting is I remember first learning. So here we only have 120 when we use both wilds with the tens, but don't forget that you could split the wilds up and you could also use them on the queens. So technically we'd have enough to open if we wanted to, or we could sit with it and see if we could pick the pack.
I think this early in the game, there's 3 cards. Wouldn't we want to open and get a 4 card?
Oh, no, I don't mean pick the pack with the 4. I mean, do we want to wait and see if they
Wait.
throw a 9, a 10, or a jack or a queen?
I'm
Or do we
not,
wanna
I'm not a big fan of waiting.
let's open.
So
So do you
if we had an ace, I would wait. We
Okay.
don't have any aces to use those wild cards with.
So do
I
you have
say,
a preference with the 9, the 10, or the queen?
no, pick up whatever you want.
Basically, we've been asked this, and it's a great question. The best card to close as early as possible would be an ace, because especially when you get to 180, you're making it harder for your opponent because you can't meld a dead card. So if you close aces, that takes those points out of their hand. So
One quick thing, well, we put them down. I wonder what our partner discarded. It was probably a low card. We could look back for a minute. Oh, our partner discarded a 7.
they're
Okay,
probably going for a special, or just happen to open with a ton of 7s. So, all right, I will get rid of.
this game does play signaling with 7s. The bots are programmed.
Yeah, and the bots do not miscount. I mean, if you throw the 5th 7 or ace on this pack, they will pick it. There's
The
no.
second 7 our partner just threw.
Yeah. All right, so we only have 1 king.
What are we gonna throw? What did they throw?
No, 1 second, let me just decline a call. Okay. Okay, is it still showing my screen?
What are we gonna give them?
You
Is
are. I
this
couldn't
7?
hear you. I couldn't hear you.
7
So
the 7 cards in the pack, what did they throw? They threw a 5.
we do a 10 just because they have 2 10s. I mean, or do we do a king because we don't have a.
Well-
I could do the 4. I mean, they might pick it, but
well, if they threw a 5 before, would we want to dump the 5? I mean, it's 7
well, they could
cards.
be trying to bait us.
They could.
And cards in the pack. I mean, it's not huge.
Yeah. Good question. But maybe the 4, you know.
Okay. Wait, hold on 1 second. I just want to say I'm doing a Zoom. Okay. Let's see. All right, so at least that was safe for 1 turn.
Interesting, they put down 2 aces because whatever. I don't know why the bots put down things like that. I wouldn't have put down, well, the partner closed out aces. Well, hello.
All right. So now if we put down both jacks, we could put down 1 wild, or at least put down 2 jacks and see if our partner could at least get 1 canasta out of the way. We only have 1 3, so we don't really have that many penalty yet.
I think we still wait.
Okay. You discard the king or the 5.
What did they throw the last time?
An 8.
They threw an 8. All right, that's no help. I don't know. You want
I think the king.
the king? All right, let's try it.
It might be holding pairs, but oh well.
And we knew there was a 5 in the pack.
Yeah, now they're dumping the 7s. All right, so now we'd have 6 jacks. I think we add them.
Yep, we had him. And do we wait one round to see if our partner has?
I think so. We give them the courtesy of closing.
Yeah,
it.
because they only have one and they've got a lot of cards over here, including sevens. Yeah.
And if they had two, we would close it with the two. But since they only have one, they would have to have at least 3 kings or, wild cards and a king to get the second one to go out. And look at how many cards computer 1 has. So with that being said, we don't want to do the queen because that's on our table. Do we do the 5 or the 10?
What did he have? We knew there was 1 5 in the pack already, and he threw one. I don't know. I guess a 5.
Well, wait, question for you. Since there's 3 10s out.
Oh, 3 10s out.
I think we do the 10.
Yeah, that's a thought.
But at least
There
this
were no
way,
10s in the pack. Yeah.
they might pick it with the 10s, but at least this way, if we get a 5, it's a new meld for the whole table. Oh, they would have picked it with the, oh, that's weird. They didn't pick it with the 10, but they had 3 10s.
They did?
Yeah, they just added 2 10s to the table. I
Huh.
guess they didn't want to get, oh, maybe they have wild cards that they need to get rid of, so they didn't want to add.
There's the 5 meld base with the wilds, which is probably why they did it. And maybe they didn't want to get stuck with any
Yeah.
other bad stuff in there.
Mhm.
So he's got 3 cards left, 2 cards now, but we got the 5s.
They just picked, I'm trying to think of how earlier they threw the 7, because there's 1 7 at least, and they only have 2 left.
Is it worth picking it for the 5s? Is there anything else in there really with 7 cards? There was it.
I mean, if we weren't doing the Zoom, I'd be paying more attention and know how many other 7s were in there.
Yeah.
If anything, 1 ace, that I know.
Yeah. I mean, what's in there beside 5s? Well, our partner may have some. That may be a possible other canasta because we each have 9s down. Maybe we take it. We can't throw a 10 out when we get the pack.
Well, I'm sure there's something we could throw in there.
Yeah, I would take it and see what we can match with our partner.
Oh, all right. We're not bad. We're good. Okay, so at this
You want to
point,
put the 5 down?
5. The 10 we can't. Oh, so now
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna have to throw a queen.
yeah.
It's okay.
So one of the consideration when you pick the pack is if you get a lot of dead cards, those are good discards if you're early on and there's a lot of time to throw cards. If not, those go against your point count. So if there's a lot of high cards, they go against your point count. Because we can't meld, even though we
So
have.
look, so we're gonna be able to close out the 5s, which was a good thing. Oh, they're gonna go out. Oh, geez.
No, oh, good.
No, good.
And if you see, they did that properly. They asked first before they melded. And we actually emailed Ronnie, and I think they might have changed it. In a real game, you can't put a card down and then ask your partner. Okay, so we can close the 5s, so at least we get our notice. So now we go from 590, 610 to 1310 because of the 3s.
3s and throw the ace.
And the ace is 20 points, so you want to get rid of the highest value cards. So now they threw a 7. We'll see if computer 3 gives them another. If I was them, I wouldn't go out yet. I would wait till see them throw a natural card.
That's what the classic you should do is you should wait till your partner throws a non-7.
Yeah.
Another card other than a 7.
Oh.
Just closed out a 3rd canasta.
And our partner could throw anything because computer 3 only has 1 card. We could add, now let's see, do we want to add this? Yeah, we have. See, the reason I asked, I just wanted to make sure before I added the 6 that we had some safe cards to throw, and we could throw the 10. That's safe. So a lot of
those
people,
cards are safe. Yeah.
a lot of people when they're playing will move discards that they know are safe to one side, the left or the right, just to remind them and to be quick when they're playing, to be able to make decisions quickly. So here we could add the 4. And now it's funny. It's like a silver lining. As much as you don't want to have cards that you can't do anything with, sometimes when somebody closes a canasta, you're like, great, now I have safe cards that I don't have to worry about. And we could say yes. So we answered yes because we don't have more than 2 sevens or 2 aces. So that turned out to be a much nicer.
Close out another canasta. So that picking the discard pile was a good thing for us because it gave us the 5s and the 4s.
And then we got the 100-point bonus.
Right. How did they still get some? They closed aces probably. Round total 2,000. Oh, we're only 300 apart, but we got killed on the, not killed. They're going to need 155 to open, and we're going to still be at 125. This should be an interesting round.
Okay, let's see what we get. Oh, this kind of screams
maybe a special
hand to me, but because we have 3. I mean, the 3 6s helps for a pure, but you know, very low value.
Yeah.
But so this is what we have for now. All right, let's see. Up. So since the 6s we're keeping for now for, you know, grouping, at this point I would do the opposite of what I normally do, and I would keep the 10 and the king, and I'd throw the 5. Just
yes.
Points.
We need higher value cards, absolutely.
Okay, so that had a missed call. That was Donna. She said I'm cheating on her with mahjong.
With canasta. Dara's partner for modern mahjong. Oh, so we got 2 kings.
Okay, so the funny thing is that's our only, oh no, the 8s are 2. So we could only use one of them. We can't do the 8s and the kings because we only have 1 wild.
Yeah.
So at this point, I say we throw the 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you want to keep, because it was funny, the other day somebody was asking, like, why are 7s so talked about so much? So aces and 7s, if somebody gets a pure, that's a very big point count, you know, very big windfall. So you try to keep in hand at least, not at least, up to 2 aces and 7s so they can't complete the canasta. So we can't pick the pack because we don't have enough points. Oh. Now, what would be really nice is if we could discard the 2, because that would set us up for a special, but we can't.
We can't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe you could put this in better words than I can. I was trying to explain this to my dad. There's the pairs hands, which are 7 distinct numbers or pictures. If you don't have aces and 7s with your 2s or your jokers, then you can't do pairs if you have a 2 or a joker. So then you have to go to less groupings, because other than the pairs, aren't all the groupings 5 or 4? Because the zip code's 5 groupings.
Yeah, that's true.
So at this point, we'd have to either get rid of, I would say either the 8 or the king, but then that's, I mean, we really, if we got rid of the 7s, that would help us with point value, but do we really want to get rid of?
Oh, we're going to false signal our partner too. What about, let's look at this for the zip code. We've got a 4, we've got a 3. We need to get a second 2.
Or if we get rid of, I mean, if we got rid of 6, we would have 2, 3, 2, 3. Well, because there's one that's 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. I think we get rid of the 8 or the king.
No, you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you get rid of the 6? I just want to play devil's advocate.
For waiting for a zip code. If we get a 2, then we're really close to a zip code. Whichever. I mean,
we're giving up high value points though. What if we pull in a joker?
All right, so let's try. Let's get rid of
throw the 6 and see. Partners opening, yay.
And now we're set to pick the pack. I mean,
yep, beautifully. 9s, jacks, and 5s.
A queen or a king.
But she's going to throw a 6 if he has it. No, a jack. Our luck. Okay.
Oh God.
Here's a 7.
So we're not going to add anything because we want to try to pick the pack.
No. Sit with cards to pick the pack.
We don't really match them anyway. So
Or they're opening. They must have the big guys for 155.
wow, they really needed to go to the bottom.
Really
So this was
sticky.
one of the posts in one of our pop quizzes. Up until the turn card, you only need one card. You only need a discard because you're going to put that on the top of the pile and then you're going to get either 4 or 3 cards for your talon. After the turn card, you don't get a talon. So then you need 2. You always need a discard. So you need 1 for the discard, but the second one you need to have a card in hand. Okay.
You know, I don't know if you noticed, our partner put down a 5. The bots are programmed for this. I would not do that normally. I just want to point that out. There's no reason to put down a 5. Because you might get a second one and be able to pick the pack. I think it's a programming thing, but.
So question for you, would you put down the 4 queens because they have 3? If our partner has 1 and they have any jokers, we could close it.
You know, that's a thought. That's a good thought. I think you're absolutely right. And we still have cards to throw.
Yeah.
Put up the queens. This is the one time we're going to lay down stuff. They're never going to throw us a queen. They're not going to do any good. We don't want to load up the pack with queens for them to pick. So yeah, we can make a match with their partner. Absolutely.
And now you do the 6 so we could keep pairs of everything.
Yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I agree.
No
They
good.
don't have a lot of cards in their hand.
And when we're playing with it on the medium speed, there's such a delay before they pick the pack that I'm sitting there waiting to see if
Waiting
they
to see.
Right.
Closed at 9s. All right. Hope he throws us a 6.
all right.
Yippee. Okay.
All right, so that's good. We only have 1 card that we have to get rid of.
Right.
I think we can close the 4s.
Oh,
So you
there must
see
be
how
a
people
little-
just dump low numbers when you pick the
Yeah.
packs. The 6s, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we could do the 6s also.
I think you put up everything you can.
So explain why you're saying that now as opposed to before.
Number 1, they've got 1 canasta closed out. Number 2, half of the pack is gone. And number 3, we only have 1 7 to dump. And we could get in position to go out, hopefully, if our partner could unload. So
Sure.
I don't
So-
think we need to pick the pack again.
So where would you close the 6s with the 2?
Well, would you wait to see if our partner has something to close? Or,
With 4 cards, it would be very rare, unlikely that they would be able to get a second canasta here.
well, they have 7 cards. Oh, you mean with 4, with the
I'm
6?
saying computer 1.
Oh,
I
right.
think we don't have any 3s.
We don't have any 3s.
Oh, so then I just answered my question. There's no need to.
So explain that a little bit to the
So if we had
canasta community.
3s, I would want to get the bonus from the windfall from closing a second canasta. Since there's not going to be any penalty or windfall, we already closed 1 canasta, so there would be no penalty if we had 3s. Since we don't have any, there's not going to be any bonus for closing a second. So at this point, if you do a pure canasta versus a mixed, there's a difference in point value. So we're going to give computer 2 time to add a 6. So we get an extra 200 points on the 6 canasta. And if they don't close it this turn, then when it comes back to us, assuming the other team doesn't go out, we'll close it with the 2.
Right, you're gonna throw a 10 maybe to them, since they have 10.
10s, yeah. And even if they get 1 card, I mean.
Yeah, they're not gonna pick, they're gonna, well, we don't know what they're gonna do.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's interesting that they didn't close.
The
The
6.
Well, I guess
Maybe they're, because it was already mixed with the 5, so maybe they're thinking maybe we'll pick a 6 up.
okay, we're not going to pick the aces for sure. We got a 9. All right, so we can add the 9. Oops. Wait, they closed the 9s. I didn't even see that.
Oh, that's another teaching. Once, yeah, this is, yeah, can't meld the 9. But you can close out the 6s now with the 2.
Close
that
out
worked out.
the 6s.
And add the, oh, and you can't add the 9, so we dump the 9 then.
No,
Oh,
seven.
the 7. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, there's the 6. The 1 3.
Oh, nice.
Bonus.
Oh, cool.
But they have a lot of 3s. I mean, if they don't get,
Yeah, they have a lot of 3s.
close that 10 because that would be, oh, well, I spoke too soon.
There we go.
Now their score goes from 630, look at that, to 2230. What a big jump.
Yeah, you can see the running scores here.
So I can add the 2, there's.
To the 8s or to the queens, which one?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I would do
matter.
the 8 only because there's 3 queens out. so
Right, I was just gonna say, yes, that's the one to do.
the 9 is a dead card.
Yeah,
And if the aces were dead, we would throw that as opposed to the 9, but the aces are still out there.
right. Neither team is melded aces, so you're holding 2, but not 3, like 7s.
Yep. Oh, getting rid of that.
7s.
And it's interesting when it's not bots, when you're playing with live players and a 7 goes out at the end, a lot of times you'll see someone kind of pause going over their calculation in their head of the counting 7s if they should pick the pack. Where the bots, I mean, they know right away.
They sure do. When we
That's
close,
interesting. The fact that he only has 1 card in hand and there's 4 cards left. If I had been counting more, which I should be, the 7 might be a pack to pick. I'm not doing it now. But the fact that they have 1, they might be forced to discard that 7. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
All right. So the 10, yeah, the 10's a safe
10s are
card.
closed. Yeah.
Throw that, then the 6. And when you get this part, you just have to click end game because you technically, if I had 2 5s, I could pick that pack, even though I don't pick from the stock, but I just click end game.
I want to see, he had 1 7, he had the second 7. So.
Yep. So no, I knew we wouldn't pick it, but I'm just saying you could tell that he was forced to discard this.
Yeah.
So let's see. So we only had 2 3s. And I think we mentioned this before. We call it pure canastas and mixed canastas rather than dirty and clean. That's different terminology.
Yeah, it's an old language. It's old language.
All right.
Yeah. So we're pretty much even.
Yeah, now we're all at 180. Oh, I like that we started with 2 jokers. And I
Oh,
it's silly. I get excited when I start with 3s, thinking that I'm going to pick other good cards. So let's see. Oh, so we are looking good for a pairs hand. We have the pair of aces, the pair of jokers. We would need a 7. So we have 1 pair, 2 pairs. We need this, 3 pairs, 4 pairs. So that's a pretty good start considering 180 a lot of times. I mean, we lucked out that we have 2 big jokers.
Oh, that really helps. We've got 100. We have 140 points there. If we.
So since we don't have a pure, I'm going to put these down not to be misleading, but all right. So let me just throw the 5 because we need big points.
Yeah, we need points. So yeah.
If we pick a 7, then that would definitely make me lean towards special.
Yeah.
Ooh, lots of 3s out. Okay, so at this point, we still have enough to do the special. We don't have to break up the 6s.
Do we have enough to open?
We could use 2 melds. Nope, very close. Did I do
175.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna throw the 4. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with 180, it's a race to open. It's a race to. And if we have the 2 jokers, I mean, it's highly not probable that computer 1 and 3, that one of them has both. Oh.
Wow.
So we can actually use the aces with 2 of them and the queens with 1 of them. So do we wait and throw an 8, 9, or 10, or do we go with this?
What would be the reason to wait? Let's talk about that.
Well, we wouldn't pick the pack with aces because when you open,
right,
the only time you could use wild cards with aces is upon opening. And that in addition to that, the requirement is you cannot pick the pack to open with an ace on top and use a wild card. So the aces, we would have to use the jokers. In order to pick the pack, we could pick it with the queens or the sixes and then use the wild cards with the aces.
There's only 9 cards there. They'd be more. I say let's open, let's get our 4, and let's get in a position to beat them.
Yep. All right. So that's our opening. Sweet music. And then
Now, I just want to bring up one thing. We won't do it here because the bots are programmed, but in playing live, and the way I teach, this would be a pass to our partner to be able to throw a 7 when you don't have that many cards, and particularly if you had a pair or 2 pair in your hand. That's the time I would throw a 7 and my partner would know it's not a signal. The bots aren't programmed that way, so we're going to throw a card. I don't pick a card, any card.
Oh, I picked a good one. Oh God. Wow.
Put all
Well,
those
I
7s.
picked a good, the 8 rather than the 9. That was nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
that's a 7s.
Now our partner is going to be sitting with pairs in their hands, hopefully. And that's the time I would put down something for aces to close it out before the opponents go. Otherwise, I'm not a fan of putting any unnecessary cards down. Get that rid of that 7.
Yeah, because especially at 180, if we could close those aces, then the other team's going to have a hard time coming up with an opening meld.
Now, partners putting down cards. I don't know why. I'd like to ask our friends at RealCanasta why they're programmed to do that. I will say though,
2 7s in the deck already in the pack.
3, yeah, it was, yeah. Also, no, they might be going for a special hand, folks. When you need 180, that's the time your opponents may be going for a special hand.
I mean, that's the first question I ask myself when I get dealt cards.
And we have 2 out of the 4 jokers.
They are really,
how many? So was there 4 7s in there?
Or either 3 or 4 already in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So 1 more and we'll pick it. All right. So now that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, that's considered 5th position. So neither us or our partner can add to the queens or the aces by picking the pack. So since there's 1 joker on there, I think we add the queen. So if they have
absolutely, we want to try to get we want to try to get a canasta closed out, because if they have a special hand and we don't have anything, we're looking at minus points.
The 8, the 9, or the 10.
Trying to think what's been in there. I don't either one. Good. We matched with the queens. That was a good thing that we put that down.
So at this point, if they threw a 9 or a 7, would you pick the pack?
There's too many. Well, a 7. Interesting. Our partner doesn't have a lot of cards.
Yeah.
How are we going to get a second card to close out things? And
so would you throw the 9 to bait them, or you're not even sure you'd pick it, or would you just throw the 10?
You know, probably the 10. I don't know if I'd want to pick it. Particularly if we can't close out 7s and they end up with a special hand and we're sitting with minus, that wouldn't be a pretty picture. All right.
Partner can have jokers. So our partner could have jokers. So do we put the jack to let them add jokers and then throw a 9? I definitely don't want to throw a 7 because that
we don't want to throw a 7. No. Yeah, I'd put the jack on and throw the 9 and hope we match.
Oh, good.
Okay, good. So we want to get in position to go out now. We're coming up to the turn card, I think.
Well, what's interesting is I don't think we can go out because we don't want to put a 7 on the pack.
I know. Well, they're not open though.
Yeah, but if they have, oh, that's true. They'd have to have the points too. But
They
so
have to have the points, or would they pick it for a special
there's only
hand?
7 cards left and we're not planning on opening. Would you just put the 3 9s out and throw the queen?
Yeah, I would at this point, because
We're not
maybe
gonna
a partner has 2 cards. Maybe they're gonna be able to meld out.
and the
I
queen
don't
is
think it matters a heck of a lot. We just won't have a good card to throw possibly, but if we picked another 7, we still have 2.
right. Oh, I guess the only bad thing would be is if we picked an ace.
I
'Cause then-
know, I was just thinking the same thing. Oh, there's a 3. Well, you know what? I think you take the gamble and we close out the aces and we take, because they're not open. If they were open, it would be a different scenario. Two cards left.
Yeah, we're holding on to that ace.
Ooh, our partner ended. I guess that was okay
Oh,
because
they had to throw the 7. That's interesting.
because they had a wild card.
Yeah.
Here go. So look, they're going for specials. 4 2s, 1 2 3 5s, 3 8s.
Yeah, they just needed one more card.
Yeah, they were close to a special. And what was
They were
bot
doing
number?
5 4 3 2, I think.
4.
Yeah, they weren't doing a zip code. They only have 4 numbers. They have a 2, a 5, an 8, and a 10.
Yeah. Right.
then-
All right. Well, we came in, we had a good round. Let's see if we can finish it off.
Okay.
We both need 180 now.
All right, so I
Did
will
they
get,
they got totally minus that last
yeah, they
round,
got like
right?
minus 940 or something like that.
Yeah, well, we don't have a big card to our name, so we're looking for a special hand here at this point.
So we have 4 of a kind.
Oh, our partner's opening.
Don't even have to worry
Ah.
about it.
Oh,
It's so
he
lovely.
must have the big jokers.
Yep. Oh, 2 of them.
See?
So
Wow.
to me, this is get in and get out of Dodge. I mean, if-
Get in and get out.
I
because
think
they
we
need-
had the jack, I think we had the queen, I think we put,
Well, we want to have cards to pick the pack. Want to pick the 6? Let's get the 6.
I think we keep the other 2 6s.
Yeah,
Well, so if we add the queen, that doesn't do much.
doesn't do much. Well, we
I
have
think we
pairs
go to
of
5 and wait a little bit.
Yeah, the single 5, excellent, yeah.
Because now, in the book, we have set 14 chapters on strategy. And one of the chapters is based on where you are in each round and where you are in each game. With 72-15, I mean, the winning, whoever gets to 8,500 and above first, we don't want to do anything risky. Like, this is where I switch my personality and become a very conservative player. I just want to get points down. I mean, when I play with my husband, like, he already knows like exactly what we need. He's like, we need to close 2 canastas. We won. So
That's knowing your partner also, yes. So we got to pick a card, any card, let's see. 2
I think we
queens.
put the 2 queens down because then if they,
Remember, our partner used 3 wild cards to open. Do you think they've got a 4th one there?
well,
We hold those queens in case we could pick the pack. And
can.
so what we've got, we got pairs of 6s. Maybe we throw the 8.
It's only pretty much the only safe.
Or
not
the ace. I mean, in this time I would take a chance on throwing an ace if we needed to.
Oh, I wouldn't at this point because it's 180 and they haven't opened. I don't know.
They're going for a special hand, I bet. There's our queens.
They have 1 queen, like they wouldn't be putting 1 queen down. I think we try to close at least 1 canasta.
All right, so put the 3 queens. Yeah.
And then the jack we have out there, the 6s we have, maybe I guess a 4.
Why wouldn't you throw an ace?
Because, I mean, they're not going to pick it to open. I guess at that point, that's true. Unless they had 5 aces in their hand, they're not going to pick the ace at this point. I just feel for people watching.
Yeah, generally we don't do that. Well,
You know,
we want to strategize. We want to get 2 canastas. What's the best way we're going to get 2 canastas?
So this is one of those examples of, do as I say, not as I do.
Well, no, there's exceptions to everything. And usually you're going to hold aces and sevens in your hand. They're going to go for a special hand at this point. They don't have the jokers yet. As I speak, we'll see. Well, they're throwing a queen. That's fine.
Oh, now
Our
good.
partners-
Sixes.
I closed out the queens. All right. So we have the answers. We're going to.
Yep. We could
Partners voiding their hand. Yep, yep. Coming down to the, oh, they just opened. Well, that makes it interesting. No, they opened with aces. Okay. Not a bad thing. Aces, 9s, and 8s. They throw us a 10. This is probably not the time to pick the discard pile. We close out the 6s. And our partner has 2 cards.
I don't think there were anything. We threw 1 ace, but I think that was the only negative, penalty card in there.
Well, then would we pick it and our partner still has, if we pick it, is it valuable for us at this juncture? If there's no, what's the last 3
we're going to
cards?
be adding to our negative card count with cards in hand.
Yeah, what's the last 3 cards?
10, a 9, and a queen. So the queen wouldn't help. The 9 we could go down, we could meld.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really on the fence.
We could do the 6s on their own.
I think we're fine. We don't pick the pack.
Okay.
We just put down, we close out, like we said, the original plan was to get out of Dodge, put the jack on there.
And then they have 8s, 9, and aces. They only have 2 9s. Would you do the 5 and assume they're going to pick the pack, or?
Well, would we want to bait them into picking the pack? Would they be able to close out canastas with picking the pack? There's 10s in there, not 8s. There's
We
one
don't have
8.
any definite safeguard is the point.
We don't. We don't know about 4s being thrown out.
Maybe we do a 9. I mean, at this point, we're not going to pick the pack with 9s.
No, and we're not going to meld out. Our partner's going to be the one to go out. All right, maybe try the 9. Yeah, they picked it. Okay.
So we have 1,500. So right now we're at 8,700. And then of course, our cards in hand get deducted.
Yeah. Well, they closed out 2 canastas. Maybe we should have picked the pack before. I wonder if picking the pack before would have prevented them from getting cards to use for canastas. And they closed aces.
Yep. All right, let's see what we got. King.
King.
All right, so now we have a safe 9. And when you're deciding between a discard, I mean, now the 5s are closed, but before the 5s were still open, if you have a choice between a card that's closed and not, you go to the closed canasta because they can't use it at all. Even if they can't pick the 5, if somebody picks it later on, they could use that to add to the pile.
Right.
I can't use that. So are there any high card, the 10? So here, this is back to what I was saying. Do we get rid of the 5 because we know it's safe? And the 10 safe as well. I mean, it's a 5-point difference. I think we just go with the safe card.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't pick 2 10s, but if we got a third 10.
Later on, their partner picked it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, now we got to do the 10. Great if our partner will put down 4s.
They haven't been able to go out.
Not doing that.
No way.
So the ace is safe.
Okay.
And the reason we didn't pick it is it's too close to the end. We don't want to be stuck with any extra aces or sevens. And even if something's closed, there's 8 cards. So even with the aces closed, if they have, once it's black on top, that means it's mixed. So you don't know if there's 1 wild card or 2 in there unless you knew from before they closed it. So there could be 6 aces. There could still be
Aces on the loose. Yeah.
exactly. Oh, so we could do a jack,
A jack.
and then we have a 10. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, no, there's already 2 jokers on. Can't any more jokers. And since I'm screen sharing, I can't see how many cards does our partner have?
1. They've had 1 card all along. They don't have anything to meld it out on.
Yeah, no, they would just need a jack. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Oh, we squeaked it. Well, we didn't squeak it.
We both said we squeaked it.
Well, 1,000 points from being down.
So that's funny that if they got another 300, they would have been 8,500 as well, but it's whoever has the most over 8,500 that wins.
Right. I'm still thinking about that time where we didn't pick the discard pile because our plan was to just make canastas and go out and I guess we didn't have to worry about the points because they were down several thousand points because remember they got 3 canastas out of that pack. So thinking back, would you have changed that? Would you have picked the discard pile?
Yeah, I mean, I was leaning towards it, but I know, it's kind of like in our book, how we do what's the deal. I mean, it's a back and forth. The time before we played, I wanted to do something, I forget what it was. We go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a game, as we've said, and we say in the book, nuanced decision making, but starting out slow.
Look how this round, all the players were playing by the rules, or not rules, strategy. I have 2 sevens, both opponents have, and our partner has 1.
Right. That's the one thing. The bots are programmed to handle sevens appropriately, meaning you signal with them and you hold them at all costs.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay, hold on 1 second. And then I will go back to, let me move this over.
Will you bring up our Facebook group?
Yeah, I was going to go to our Facebook group. Okay, so we're back.
It's on your tab up there.
Oh, can you see it or no?
I saw a Modern American Canasta. Let's see.
Okay, so wait, hold on 1 second. I think what happens is if I don't have it exactly sharing. Okay, so let's do that again and share screen. Okay, so here's our group. So if you have a question, we're going to put a link to this once. If you're watching it, you already saw the link, but we'll type in here different things. If you have a question you don't want your group to see, you could post anonymously and get people to chime in. And then on YouTube, you could play it on your phone, or we have a fun video.
Modern American
This is round 2. This one's a little bit more challenging. Round 1 was back to basics.
Have you finished?
So those are really great to just go over the rules, have fun doing it. Oh, wait, hold on. I think you're muted.
I'm muted.
Hey, you're back.
Thanks for joining us. Another great YouTube live play. And we will be
a chance to play together because we don't usually play.
Yeah. Last year we were writing our book. We didn't have that much time to play. This year we're promoting our book and doing a lot of stuff in the Canasta communities, where our respective communities. And we will be doing some more live events come fall. So
if you want to get in touch with us and schedule an event for your clubhouse or your group, you could email us at modernamericancanasta@gmail.com. So
bye for now.